A driving force behind one of Australia's most exciting design studios, Golden, Alicia McKimm, together with longtime friend and business partner Kylie Bahaja, has built an impressive and ever-growing project portfolio over the past decade. Blending her refined design sensibility with strong business acumen, Alicia brings a thoughtful and strategic approach to Golden's ethos. Her strengths complement those of her business partner, resulting in projects that are considered functional and timeless. Based in Melbourne, Golden works across a range of sectors, including residential, hospitality, and workplace design. Alongside leading a thriving design practice, Alicia also juggles the demands of a young and busy family, a balancing act she manages with incredible energy and focus. Alicia, welcome to Her Design, Her Story.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us today. It's really exciting. You've welcomed us into your beautiful home, which is very kind of you.
Yeah, it's nice to have you.
It's always such a treat to see where designers live, particularly when you've gone through a renovation and everything's looking incredible. I was recently in your office with Kylie, and I have to say, similarly to your office, I'd seen photographs of both spaces. I find it really interesting with photos because often, I'd say to clients, there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors. There's sort of pulling things together for styling and light and that kind of thing. But both spaces to me have just exceeded what I'd thought from the images. This space as well is beautifully light. Beautiful use of finishes. Yeah, it's an incredible space to be in. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Before we touch on all the amazing work that you do with Golden, I just wanted to talk to you about the beginning of your design journey and what that looked like for you. You were at school in Melbourne.
Yep.
What was life like for you when you finished at school?
Finished at school, I went straight into uni.
Yep.
I always thought that I wanted to do architecture. I'd kind of thought about that in those final years of school.
Yep.
I've got real balance between being creative, but then I also really like the logical, functional side of things. So
Yep.
it kind of, my schooling was very much equal maths and then the creative subjects.
Yeah.
And so I did, not knowing really anything else, architecture was just kind of like, okay, well, that's what I thought. I think someone told me at school that's what I should do, so that's what I went and did.
Yep.
And I went and did the interviews for those uni courses, and I thought, oh my God, they were quite intimidating, and it just wasn't for me. And I had some interior design, I don't know what you call it, like preferences.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, this is going to be too fluffy. I don't want to do cushions and, that sort of decorative stuff. But I really connected with in the interview with the staff and the people that were kind of holding those there. So that was sort of the beginning of that journey of going through interior design and completing honours there.
Was that at RMIT?
No, we did it at Swinburne.
That's right. And that's where you first met Kylie.
Yeah, so Kai and I only had one singular class together.
Yeah.
But I remember I kind of zoned in on her. It was maybe in my second year, and I thought, I want to be friends with her. I don't know.
That's
I could just
funny.
see from a distance that I would, we'd get along, and I think she was dressed nicely.
Yeah. I know, it's funny. I studied architecture, so it's interesting hearing you say that about the architecture process, because I think if I'd understood more about not understood, but a bit like you, I think I had a vision in my head of what I thought interior design was. It's sort of almost a bridging interior architecture, really.
Yeah.
Because I was at university for 7.5 years or something ridiculous. And so in some respects, I think actually interiors would have been a good fit for me studying
kind of what
as
you're
well.
doing at the moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've done a jump. I often think with getting into that creative field as well, there's often, or particularly running your own business, there may be people around us when we're growing up that are, an element of inspiration. Was there anyone when you were growing up that you felt maybe has impacted you?
Not so much creatively. I think my dad was had always run his own business from when I can remember. In hindsight, as an adult, now that I kind of reflect back on his experience, I'm not sure why I wanted to follow in his footsteps, because it was hard. But they were a creative business, and I think I saw that as just something that I wanted to do. I know that I always kind of wanted to do my own thing, but do it with someone else.
Yeah, I think there's also that element of that it's achievable. I think when you have people around you who are doing that, maybe as you get older you reflect, you think, oh, actually that's a possibility for me.
Yeah, I think so. And I was never kind of exposed to that sort of corporate world or, you know, the sort of larger scale environment. I always knew the more sort of boutique, small, intimate you know, approach to business.
Yeah. So on completing your studies, you moved into working. Is that right? Did you take any time off?
So I did a year. So Swinburne makes you do a year within the industry.
Yeah.
And I did that with Perkins, who
amazing.
Who was an architectural practice, and they were really great in kind of taking me on board and you know, teaching me all the ropes, but also kind of giving me a lot of freedom to do my own thing within that business. And I stayed there for a few years at least, with some travel in between. Yeah, my husband and I went travelling. So I met my husband when I was 19. So we've been together for a long time. And then I think when we were in our mid-20s, we went and took a year travelling around the world.
Yeah.
And... yeah, before that I was at Perkins, and then I think I came back and went to SJB.
So did you cross with Kylie in her time?
We did.
I'm
trying to think of the time frame now. So yes, I did cross with Kylie very briefly. My entrance into the workforce at SJB was at the beginning of the GFC. So it was a really interesting time to, I guess, witness what was going on. And that office went from being fully occupied to being, there was only half of them there.
It was a funny time. I just started as a graduate at Bates Smart, and I remember I felt so naive actually because I mean, I think it was probably the first GFC, you know, that any of us were really across. And similarly, I just remember suddenly all these projects just going on hold, and there was quite a lot of angst.
The directors there were only working 4 days a week, you know, so it was sort of significant. So my time there was not as kind of consistent, and I thought I need to have a proper full-time job. And I think at that point I actually went back to Perkins. Potentially. Yeah. It's funny, you can't remember.
I know. It was a bit of a defining moment though. I felt, I think I was renting with friends at the time. I had nothing, you know, no life commitments. So it wasn't quite as impactful, but I just remember seeing people around me really quite stressed. Yeah. And that sort of did change a little bit of my thinking moving forward.
I think it was a great, I think it's great to watch those periods and know that business isn't always good, because there can be good periods for a really long time, but you know, there are hard periods, and just to remember to kind of batten down the hatches and know that everything's not always as good as what you think it may be.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's always not as bad. So that's kind of a bit of a motto that I've sort of lived by.
It's a funny experience, and sometimes it's those experiences that you can't always necessarily define. We were talking earlier as well about that sense of working in offices of there's the practical experience and the you know, the drawing skill and seeing how businesses are run, but there's also that sense of you know, you're starting to build your network and people around you. Is that something that you found quite do you still cross paths with people now that you started work with?
Not so much, because I was reflecting on that when you were talking about it before, and I think that my path was maybe a little bit different to some others, and I can't say that there's I don't know.
Kylie stuck with you, yes,
and
absolutely.
Maybe that's why I kind of feel like because we've had each other, there's always been less of a need to look elsewhere. Because
which I think is great.
We've been able to really rely on each other, kind of bounce off, you know, those day-to-day things and concerns and, you know, just, all of that. And so I have found that, we've kind of probably kept ourselves a bit more insular in that sense.
Yeah, which can be quite nice in a way because there's that sort of a bit more surety sometimes.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of speaking to Kylie recently, and we touched on a little bit of your crossover and when you guys first started talking to each other and working together. But we also touched on there was a project that came up that you both worked on together, which ended up on Grand Designs back in the day. Was that one of the key drivers for you both to take that jump and start your own business?
I think it's the journey for Kylie and I is an interesting one. I think that we weren't so much friends. Like we would never sort of hang out outside of uni or connect in that way. But I think we both had a mutual respect for each other from a design and like just the way we kind of, handled ourselves. And so when the opportunity came to me to work on it, I was actually about to head overseas. And so I wasn't going to be able to see it through. And I thought, well, who's better to do that alongside me? So we started the process together, and then she finished it off while I was away. And I think, that probably definitely cemented it into us that, that may be something that happens in the future, but we never spoke about it. And it probably didn't happen until about 5 years later.
Oh, okay. And was that through the nature of quite an intentional decision, or did you have projects start to come to...
What was the decision? I think I probably got propelled into it a bit faster than what I maybe would have wanted. I just sort of purchased my first apartment. It sort of felt like I needed maybe a little bit more stability, but Kylie had left where we were working and had projects, and I sort of felt like if I don't take this opportunity now, someone's going to snatch her up. Yeah. So I needed to go.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard. I think there's never a perfect time for something, and it can be that little bit of a push that maybe makes us move outside our comfort zone. Yeah.
And we were young. Like, it was only 28 or something.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So maybe I wouldn't have done it again, but I think it's probably also we didn't have too many responsibilities. There was no children at this point.
A bit more time.
So if we weren't taking salaries and all those sorts of things, then at that point it was sort of okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have both been working together now for about 12 years, which is amazing. Particularly, I think, in a creative field where we're touching on it with the GFC, but I do feel like it's something that fluctuates a lot depending on what the market's doing. And obviously recently we've had COVID, and now sort of interest rates often play on that a little bit as well. Are there any, what sort of key methodologies do you guys work through at the moment? We're touching on sort of business mentors and things like that when we're speaking earlier. Do you have any sort of way of looking forward, or is it just a little bit of experience now helps you kind of navigate different climates?
I think it's the most structured it's been in a long time, the system that we've got. So in the past, we've been through multiple sort of business mentors. We've worked with a beautiful lady, Jo Hook, from the moment I had I think I was pregnant with my first child, which was only 2 years into the business. And it was just, she assisted us in navigating multiple sort of maternity leaves, bringing people on, how to be a leader, those sorts of things. But she didn't kind of tap so much into the financial stuff. In the past, we've also lent on our accountant, but we actually really saw the value in bringing someone into the business that wasn't a designer, that could help kind of drive the ship both financially, strategically. Yeah. And that was, I guess, a really successful move. It was a big luxury. I'm actually not really sure whether we could afford it, particularly in the last few years. Like, that's been very challenging financially for the business. Yeah. And so we've had to watch it tightly. Yeah. Like, it's been week to week, looking at what are we spending, what's coming in, what's the bank balance, all those kind of really unsexy parts of the business. And I think Kai and I look at each other sometimes and we're just like, when do we get to design? I know. But there seems to be momentum now and shift in the last 6 months. And I can see now that all the stuff that this girl has set up for us, it's just allowing us to put our headspace into designing, bringing in great jobs, mentoring the staff, and then, all that kind of data entry, managing the bank balance is kind of, I don't know, there's a system for it. Yeah, and I think it's hard because I've spoken to other people. I thought when I went through university as well, there was a lot of focus on that design and the design process, which is obviously very important. But I think we did one term of one semester talking about business management also, and it was so light on. And but I remember, it's great that you did that. There wouldn't have been anything in that in interior design. Oh really? No, it was good, but I remember there was some quite big points that they were making that were, clients can sue you, clients can you're thinking, oh my goodness. Yes. So because it is so important to
the smooth running of an office, and it is the reality of having all those things in place. So I think even though it's obviously can be a luxury sometimes because that person's not necessarily bringing
in the money
work, but it's obviously put you guys in a really good space. So at the moment, how would you describe your role within the business? Do you and Kylie sort of share the load of like projects, or do you have?
We have tried so many times over the years to divide things up between us, because taking the mental load and the headspace of the entirety is really, it's a lot. But we haven't really done it successfully. I actually think the beauty in what we've done and the way that we've designed is that everything's done together, or it's at least bounced off each other. We've naturally split the financial side with me and the marketing side with her, but we're still a part of every sort of meeting and all of that. But I guess my day-to-day role at the moment, it's new business, it's driving the early stages of the projects, sending invoices, like it's
all the fun
at
things
the moment. Checking off the Instagram, figuring out marketing strategies. It's really,
that's a whole other thing in itself. So it's a bit of everything. I know you guys have done a bit of work interstate and a couple of projects overseas as well. Is that something, do clients come to you, or is that part of your marketing strategy to try and sort of broaden your network outside Victoria?
I don't know whether that's an intentional strategy. It's definitely something that we would like to do more of, particularly because Melbourne is quite small too. So there's only so much work, and there's a lot of us that do beautiful work as well. So there's kind of just enough to go around, but I think it's good to be able to extend the capabilities elsewhere. But we've just recently completed working on a home in Noosa that will be finished kind of in the early new year. So I guess with all of the technology these days, we're able to do a lot of that remote too.
And probably through COVID, that's kind of pushed some of that.
Although there's nothing
working.
worse than a Zoom chat. I know.
Or a FaceTime site meeting.
Nothing more draining.
In terms of evolving and growing, obviously inspiration as designers and creatives is key. We were talking earlier about that the kind of overwhelming amount of information sometimes. Do you have any key things that you might fall back on when you're starting a new project, like particular designers or magazines or?
It's funny because I was really thinking about this, and I think it really is client specific and site specific. So it's probably going back and having a look at references of, like what's been done before, why it's been done, and then figuring out what the intention is moving forward. And that's not always necessarily by looking at like visual references. I guess Kai and I always talk about what's the big idea? Because if we have the big idea at the beginning and set that intention early, then everything else can kind of flow even through that kind of drawing phase. And when things go wrong and we have to go back and make new decisions, it's like, well, why were we here? And this was the idea. I think, always looking at books. I would love to travel more, but that's not in the headspace that we are, or the family life at the moment. But I have put on my next to-do list that kind of need to go away somewhere together, the two of us, and just indulge in all the beautiful things that
I know it is, and I think it's just you come back feeling quite inspired, a little bit liberated.
A little bit. I need two different holidays in my life. I need one for me to inspire my creative kind of soul, and then the other one is just to sit on a banana lounge for
a bit of family
10
time.
days and watch the kids play in the pool.
Bit of family downtime.
At the moment, there's just the banana lounge one. We're not kind of doing the other creative one. So
it's hard, and we'll touch on family shortly. But obviously, the age of your children, it's harder just to step away. And do those things. There's obviously been COVID as well, which I know was a couple of years ago now, but that sort of impeded a little bit of travel.
Just time as well.
You also get to work with some other, landscape designers, architects, stylists. Is that collaboration quite key in your projects as well?
Yeah, I think definitely you need the it's really great to be able to kind of bring in different designers, different heads at different times, because they come in with a fresh eye. We all bring different things to the project. Obviously, as interior design studio, we don't have the capability to be able to kind of do the extensions and the architectural work.
Yeah.
So having a tight-knit group of architects that, you know, we like to work with is really nice. And then, of course, also the builders too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important.
Very key. Yeah.
Do you, at the minute, I know you have a range of projects on the go. Is it what sort of projects are on your drawing board at the moment?
As a business model, we've always felt the need or always like to have the crossover between the residential and commercial. But we're working on some really great multi-residential projects. So it feels like that's not been kind of the main thing that we've done in the past, but I feel like people are now kind of looking at those smaller residential practices to execute something within these kind of big spaces. So yeah, some really great multi-residential jobs. You know, working on a dentist, which
amazing.
Yeah, it's been completely different. So I now know a lot about sanitisation and hygiene.
Be a cool dentist.
And then I'm just trying to think of what else we've been doing. We've got some like beautiful residential homes. So one not too far from my house in Brighton, a beautiful old 18th century heritage home, which is nearing completion and hopefully about to kick off doing some furniture for that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I was speaking to Kylie the other day about sometimes that can be a good balance in terms of the pace of projects as well. You know, some of the I love working on residential. That's my sort of comfort space. But sometimes I was looking at something the other day and I realised I'd been working with these clients for sort of almost 4 years from conception to construction, so it can be a bit of a longer process.
And from a business model and being able, you talk about kind of looking forward, it's really hard to kind of program those projects because, you know, they may go on school holidays, or they may, I don't know, get divorced.
Yeah.
You know, there's all these different things. Yeah, it's happened. And so I think that you can't, you sort of rely on them, but the pace that they go at, it's often less so when they've got a leased space, a commercial space, or there's like they need to kind of get from A to B relatively efficiently. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's good. Obviously, in line with your design business, you, similarly to Kylie, have a very busy life outside work. Often that boundary, you know, I've often said is quite blurred. You have 3 young children, which I think is an organisational feat in itself. I feel you. What does that structure of life alongside work look like for you at the moment? Is it quite structured?
It is relatively structured.
Yeah.
I think the 3 children has forced me to be a structured person because I'm typically didn't like to be organised. I never liked anything being booked in my calendar. I liked to be able to decide on the day what I wanted to do. And so the result of the 3 kids has forced me to be super organised. I'm in the office 3 days a week, and then I've got 1 day luxuriously without any children, which is today.
Yeah, I know.
Where I can tap into some work.
Your day.
But also maybe just do something for myself. But I'm always, I don't really know what that right balance is, and I'm kind of toying with the idea of now maybe I need to go into the office today. I'm not really sure. So, but then other than that, there's school pickups, drop-offs, swimming, sport, footy, you know, all the rest. And my 2 children are at very different phases of life, or my 3 kids. So I've got 2 that are a bit older, 9 and 7, and then the other one's 18 months. So I'm kind of in the depths of that sort of, you know, toddler baby phase, and then also dealing with the kind of preteen emotions. So it's kind of, it's really nice, but it's sort of interesting that I'm kind of torn between those two.
And it's time in a different way, I find. It's a lot of talking through things and being across friends and what's happening. And
I think the little ones are more physically demanding. Like, you know, you're having to kind of pick them up and do this and put them to bed and feed them. But the admin that comes with the older ones, I think I'm focused on making sure they've got friends and a social life, and in turn I don't have one.
No, every weekend play dates.
Yeah.
Like, what about me?
Yeah, sleepovers, all of that. Yeah.
I know it is hard. Obviously, we're in your beautiful house today, which your husband runs a construction business, which I think is almost like the perfect combination. I sometimes wish my husband was a bit more construction focused. you both weave together busy work lives. Was this the first project you'd collaborated on together?
Yeah, so it's the first one. And I think him having that business gave us the opportunity to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, really tapping into all of their resources. So he doesn't have a construction background as such. He's in the kind of marketing side and sales side of the business. But still, within that business is everything you need to be able to, execute.
Yeah, which I think would be amazing. In terms of doing a home renovation, is this the first project you'd sort of holistically done for your family?
Yeah.
As well?
Yeah. I really lent on my design team, I think, for this as well, because I couldn't make a decision to save myself.
Well, it's hard, and we were saying before about sometimes when you get the luxury of doing a new build, the possibilities are endless. It can be hard. I think I overthink
everything. And I think I knew too much about my family and, you know, this person likes to do that and that person likes to do that. And, you know, like, we've got this water bottle, where did that go? So I think I just really needed the team to assist in like honing in and going, that's kind of what you need to do. Or I'd come with options and say, So there was lots of sort of internal workshops. It wasn't as structured as, say, one of our external projects that we would work on for a client, but I find it so easy to rationalise for clients. You need to do this because of these reasons. Yeah. For some reason, for me, I just...
Oh, it's hard as well. Yeah. And we were laughing before about how that practicality can shift a little bit with children. And I was telling you, I just remember before I had children doing a site measure for this beautiful house and walking in being so horrified at the fact there was a Barbie car over here and something over there and someone had scratched the wall paint. And now I've got kids. I kind of look back and laugh and think, gosh, I was so judgy.
Yes.
You just have to let a few things go. But no, it's beautiful to be in a family home that you haven't been afraid to use the beautiful stone and still execute all the details.
And I think that's really important to say. Like, I think it's been a great thing to be able to talk about my lived experience, and actually being through that construction process, I have a lot more empathy for my clients as well in terms of what they're feeling at certain stages, you know, when things go wrong and, you know, you start to have those kind of tense moments. I actually can really understand where their head's at as well. Yeah. You know, and even kind of the furniture process and looking after it all and how things are maintained and saying to them that, you know, like the stone can be fixed. Like there's nothing, it's you know, it's there to be lived with. So,
exactly. And I think just not making that compromise aesthetically necessarily because you have children. And also the joy, we were, you know, laughing before about how your daughter can proudly talk about where the stones come from. I think, you know, and I was speaking to someone recently about that sense of tangibility. Yeah. You know, the fact that you're in a space that your husband's built and you've designed is quite special for your family. Yeah. Yeah. No doubt as well.
It is. Although my daughter only realised recently that I was the boss. Oh. She's like, what? I thought this person was the boss. I was like, no, I'm the boss.
Me. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I know. So it's interesting when you see them start to view you beyond just being their parent. I remember one of my daughters one day, I was speaking to someone outside school. She said to me, what do you mean you were in Richmond today? And I said, well, and she said, oh, I thought you sat outside the gate all day and just waited for me. Yeah. Like, oh, sweetheart, no, I'm really sorry. It sort of burst her bubble a bit. She said, oh, but you were
so I
back
take
where
it you've
you
never
started.
been late to pick her up. That's okay.
Well, I've sort of eased my way out of pickups a little bit over time as well. Before we wrap today, I just wanted to ask you a few quick Her Edit questions just to finish. Can you remember your first design-related purchase you ever made?
I don't remember the brand of it, but it would have been a lamp. And today I still love purchasing lighting.
I know, same.
So it would have been a beautiful light from Hub Furniture, which I don't believe is in existence anymore.
Sadly not, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous.
So that was the first one, and it kind of sat proudly on my op shop sideboard, and
Can't go wrong with good lighting. Are there any key things on your coveting list at the moment? I think it's hard. I often speak to designers where it's probably a long list because we see so many beautiful things.
I want everything that I purchase for all my clients. But I think I was saying to you when I came in, it's not one specific thing, but I'm ready. I just craving to do that next layer of the home feeling more sort of lived in. So, you know, the beautiful accessories like the vases and the plants and the, you know, objects and those things that, you know, ideally in a perfect world you travel around and purchase.
Some flea market shopping.
But that's not in my future. So, I'd love to be able to kind of, you know, spend some time doing a bit of kind of an accessories pack for myself.
Coming back to the idea of travel, what would be your sort of dream destination at the moment if you went away for an inspirational trip with Kylie somewhere?
I think it was, I'd love to go to Miami. I think that'd be super fun. Yeah.
And the art fair looks pretty amazing.
Yeah. But I also had maybe a little bit closer was Japan. So she's already been, but I thought if I can go with her, my husband would kill me because he wants to come on all the trips.
It's a good family destination actually.
Is it?
It is.
Oh, I can't. But don't let kids can't eat in public. Like it's not socially accepted.
It was relaxed. I was actually surprised. It was one of those holidays where there was something for everyone in our family. Okay. My husband's really into good food. There was all the, you know, slightly gimmicky, quirky
there you
things.
Go. Well, maybe Miami with Kylie, Japan with my family.
Like we probably would have done a few things slightly differently if we hadn't had the children. Any design faux pas you secretly love or love to hate?
I was thinking about this one. I don't like the label it like styles. You know, someone says like, "What style is this?"
Oh yes, no,
it's
that's like, a good one.
Yeah, that I think
Scandinavian.
Yeah. I actually had a client ask me that day, like, "What are we aiming for here?" And I was like, "I don't know." It's just like what I feel like is right, what looks good together. Is it like heritage or is it like classic?
That's true.
Yeah. The other one is carpet on rugs or rugs on carpet. I can't.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Not my fave. In saying that though, I've actually got a rug on my carpet upstairs in my bedroom. I'm not sure where I draw the line. Yeah,
no, that's a good one. A favourite creative icon, living or legend?
I've probably got the same ones as Kylie. I feel like we go to the same ones. So Charlotte Perrion's always a favourite, like just like classic, beautiful,
timeless,
but really special. Vincent van Dyson, Axel Vervoe, you know, those sorts of ones. But then, you know, I even kind of love a bit of the crazy, like the Kelly Wessler and the, you know, those sorts of things as well.
Yeah, no, she is very clever. Final question. If your star was a celebrity, who would it be?
Oh God, I am not a follower of celebrities.
Probably good, saves you a lot of time.
But I was like, maybe let's think about who I would like to be. Yeah. So I was like, okay, maybe like Alexa Chung, like effortlessly cool. Yes. Like you walk in here and you go, oh, it doesn't really look like this was that hard to create. But, you know, it just kind of feels like, yeah.
No, that's a good one. Thank you so much for your time today, Alicia. It was great to chat and I look forward to catching up soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Sarah.